G'day golf fans, it's Jason again with Builder Golf. I just thought I'd drop in and do a quick video today just on how it looks actually following the tournament live on our leaderboard. So what I'll do is I'll just go through some of the guys who are playing well, kind of show what it looks like them hitting the shots live, how we follow that on our leaderboard, how the scores are generated, and yeah, how you get your placings. So as always, please sign up, it's free. The more that we get to play, the more kind of feedback we can get, and we can make this an even better game for yourselves. So, yeah, drop a comment if you can, or follow us on one of the social medias, and get in touch with me if you have anything that you think we can improve or make better. But yeah, want to hear from you guys as well. So, as always, just working through the Global League today. That's where our prizes are. Recap of the prizes just quickly. There's the Masters Gnome and the Cam Davis Bobblehead on offer if you play well throughout the season. So jump in at any time. Just because you didn't play this week doesn't mean you can't start next week and still win those because they'll be up for grabs for most of the season. Here we go. Jump into the Global League, and as you would have known yesterday, my grandmother, Nana, was leading. She's actually 3 over today um, from how much her golfers have played so far. Obviously, what I want to explain today is these grayed out numbers that you can see. This is the provisional score they have. What that means is that not all the golfers have played that hole yet, or the entire field hasn't played through that hole. So a couple of our numbers aren't locked in. So they're provisional, they're grey. I'd say if there's 4 dots above it, they're probably 95, 99% correct. If there's only a few dots above it, you still have one person who needs to hit a shot. So that can change kind of dramatically towards the end based on how your golfer is still playing that hole. But yeah, Nana's dropped down, so a bunch of you guys now beating her. So props to that. We'll see how she goes over the weekend. Obviously, still following Rick. Rick's just 1 under for the day. He's trotting along nicely. He's at 7 under with myself, Kim Neely Paru, who's also sitting at 7 under. So we're still in the hunt come the weekend, but we'll dive into some people towards the top. Bobby Andrews is leading at the moment. He's at 13 under, so he's actually 4 ahead of the pros. And there's a few of other users up there. Let's take a look at Bobby's guy, and then I'll explain how we follow the dots and where we're at with things. So, clicking on the stats button, we can see the breakdown of Bobby's build. Okay, he's got Doug Gim off the tee, the Gim Reaper. He's playing pretty well, I think, this week. Zach Blair on approach, Mac Meisner around the green, and Russ Bus Henley putting. And they're shooting him a pretty good score today. He's gained 4 shots today, which is worked out to -5 on the leaderboard in round 2. So as you can see from the scoreboard, everything is grey. Once all the field has completed the hole, this number will then turn to black. So if you're following along live and you're watching the last groups come through, as they finalize on the hole, this will turn to black. The reason for this is that if we go into the hole, obviously there's the commentary about how your golfers played the hole, but if you look at the breakdown for how the score is generated, you can see here that there is a field average score, 4.13. Now this is super important because everything that we're doing with strokes gained applies to the field average. So this number can still change based on everyone that's coming through. Obviously, when 110 of the 120 golfers are through, this is a pretty set number, but it won't be blacked out until 120 of the golfers have come through for this second round. And then you have your golfers that impact that. So taking the strokes gain that his golfers have gained on the first hole is giving him a raw score of 3.56 when the field average is 4.13. So he's actually gaining over half a stroke on the field on that hole, but he's still only getting a 4 because we round up because you can only have a whole number at the end of the day for a score on a hole. So let's say that the field average score does come down a bit towards the end of the day. Guys start playing it better, but Bobby's guys are still gaining these strokes, and this number 3.56 drops to a 3.49 or lower. He'll actually end up making a birdie on that hole, and that's how sometimes the scores can adjust as we go through based on how the field plays and based on how your golfers play. Now, as you can see, we got the coloured dots across the top of each hole. So driver, irons, wedges, and putter refer to each coloured dot. And you can see here that he's got 4 dots all the way up until the 12th, where he doesn't have a red dot anymore. So what this means is that all his golfers have played each of these holes, and so all these holes up until the 12th have got all the strokes gained breakdown for all 4 golfers, generating that score and that number. So the scores are pretty firm. When we get up to the 12th hole, he's only had 3 golfers who have played it. So as you can see here, because there's no red dot above the 12, no putting player has played. So there's still a big range of scores that you can end up getting on the 12. For who was Bobby's putter again? Russ. So Russ Henley comes. Let's say, unfortunately, Russ Henley makes a 4 stab on the 12th. You could see a big minus number here, and your rounded hole score number could go up to 5, 6. You could end up making a double just based on how Russell putts on the 12th. So talking about Russell, let's just check in on him, see how he's going. I think he was playing all right this week so far. He definitely looked like he was making the cut. I thought he was a few under, but let's see if we can find Russell real quick. Here he is. Oh, he's 3 over for today. He's only at 2 under, so having a pretty poor second round. Now, as you can see, Russ, he's on the green in 2. Just clicking on shot link. On shot link, we can also view the rest of the group so we can see when he's going to putt. Looks like we might have to wait for Chris Gotterup to hit his shot around the green before we get to Russ's putt. So we'll check back in here with Russ's putt, see how he goes. I think if he 2 putts from 20 feet like expected, there probably won't be much of a change to Bobby's score here. But if Russ makes that putt, he's probably gaining 3/4 of a stroke. We might see Bobby's score on the 12th go from a par to a birdie. So let's check in on McGriff Putterson. This is user Loberg's golfer for today, and you can see here he's got a really good score going. He's 6 under for the round, and he's got 4 birdies in his last 6 holes. But because there's only 1 red dot above each one of those, he's only had the putter who's come through here. So his putting user must have really putted well on the back end to earn him this many birdies, because if you look at the breakdown, yeah, Lee Hodges putting, he's gained a stroke there on that hole, gained almost a stroke on that hole, gained almost a stroke on that hole, gained a small amount on this hole, but because the 18th is playing almost at a birdie average, McGriff Putterson's still making birdie on the 18th. So this is an example of a scorecard that as more users come through, as more golfers come through, the rest of his golfers, who are Bobby Mack, Ben Griffin, JJ Spawn, his scores on these holes could change dramatically. They could get better if the other golfers play those holes well, and McGriff Putterson ends up hitting a really good approach shot. This could go from a 3 to a 2 even, and vice versa. They could play it poorly. He could shoot back up. So yeah, that's where it's interesting to follow, especially if you have some golfers who are playing late on Sunday and you might be right at the top. It could still change pretty dramatically live as those shots are hit whilst you're at the top, and you could see other people win in that stead. So it is a lot of fun to follow along on Sunday. I do find myself looking at this leaderboard as much as I am looking at the PGA Tour leaderboard. I'm kind of watching how my golfers perform and how that impacts my builder golfer. Cool. Another guy I've highlighted here, this is Morning Joe, the user. His golfer this week is Tommy Shanks, we'll just have a quick look into. Morning Joe's just sent us through some awesome feedback, his thoughts on the game, and some great ideas. And what I want to do is, if anyone does write into us or chats to me and give some feedback and what they like, what they don't like, even if you share your golfer, I'm more than happy to favorite you and follow you for the week and talk about you on any of these check-in videos. Just thought it'd be a bit of fun and give back to you guys who are obviously taking the time to think critically about this product, how you like it, and giving me back that feedback is awesome, and I really appreciate it. So yeah, Morning Joe, he's almost through. So as you can see here, he's still got someone who's playing the last few holes. It's the driver, so his driver hasn't played the last few holes, so he's still waiting on a couple of shots to be taken here. And then this gap here is the irons player, so he still has an irons player coming through for his front nine. So some of these scores can still change. He could go up, could go down the leaderboard, but I think he's looking pretty solid coming into the weekend, sitting at -9. Who's done it for him today? He's got Keith off the tee, Killer Keith, Corey Connors on approach, Billy Ho over there around the green, and Bud Corley putting, who's a big change from round 1 -1.3 to positive 1.53. Corey just doing his thing, striking irons. That's a good choice on approach. So yeah, we'll see how Corey plays the rest of these holes, but I could see this score getting even better, and Morning Joe and Tommy Shanks going further up the leaderboard. Let's take a quick check back in on Russ Bus for the 12th hole. Where's he at? Oh, let's put it 6 feet past. So we'll see if he can make that comeback. Oh, and he's actually 3-putted here. So might actually cost him a shot. So there's 3-putt from Russ. That wasn't too good from, how far was he after 2? 20 feet. So see how that impacts our builder golfer. So coming into builder golfer here, and yeah, look, good example. Bobby has dropped from in the lead solo to tied in the lead -12 with McGriff Patterson now, because his score has been updated to a bogey live on the leaderboard. Russ Bus -1 for his putting there, and so actually got a raw score of 5.24 rather than the raw score of 4 that it was looking like. So this is how your score and your golfer updates live, exactly with the shots that are actually being hit on the course. If you're sitting there watching the broadcast and you watch Russ 3-stab from 20 feet, you can feel that pain in your golfer. You feel like your builder golf is 3-stab from 20 feet. Bobby here has 3-stab from 20 feet. And unfortunately, you didn't hit it well enough the tee, Bobby. Zach let you down on your approach shot, Bobby. And so you couldn't make up for the poor putting performance by Russ. So we'll see how Bobby comes in towards the end of the round. But yeah, just wanted to give you a quick check-in on how the scoring works, so you actually feel like you can follow along while your golfers out there competing, not only against the pros, but against the other users. So yeah, as always, drop a comment if you want to chat to us. Reach out to me on Twitter. X, apologies, and yeah, always happy to chat about golf. So enjoy making these videos for you guys, enjoy playing in the competition with you, and look forward to making some more. So catch up with you later. Thanks, guys.